This question is from Jonas.dsx. How do you do focused work and work in general on the daily when you're traveling? My travel schedule, my life schedule allows me to do everything I want. And this is different for me than many others, maybe even in the online space, I'm not sure. But the way I choose to live is a blend of life and work where it's a little bit of a blurred line. But what I do, and I do get this question a lot, when I'm jumping from place to place or when I'm just on the move in general. First, my rules are, if I'm gonna stay in a place, I wanna stay for at least 2 weeks, generally more than a month. So now when I travel and when I live, I stay in a place for anywhere from 2 to 4 months. And that place is a home base. I may travel out of that home base, aka I was just in Spain for a couple months, but we went to Montenegro, we went to Egypt, we went to Morocco, right? And so those are weekend trips or shorter trips where I'm experiencing life. But especially anything longer than that 2 weeks and into the 1 month period, this is the way I schedule my life. You have Monday through Friday, and if you've ever read Reality Transurfing, this is in accordance with those laws and everything along those lines. So I built this to be an actual balance of life, not the 9 to 5 balance. So what I do is Monday through Friday, I do disciplined work. I get things done, I'm working out in the gym, and then this is where we start to get into the balance side of things. And when I say balance, like I just said, I don't mean 9 to 5, let's hit happy hour after work, let's get blasted on the weekends. What I mean is balance through contrast, actually. So the things that I'm doing throughout the week for balance are actually things that are also moving me forward in life that I enjoy, aka working out. If I'm in a new area, I'll also focus on building a skill too. So for example, when I'm in Colombia, that could be horseback riding, or that could be dancing and building those skills. If I'm Bali, it could be learning to surf better, right? When I'm at home here, oftentimes, it's getting better on a dirt bike. And so what I do is I work pretty much all day, and then I have at least once throughout the day that contrast. Like I'm lifting throughout the week. That's a regular thing, but it's not pulling me away or negating all the other work like going out or going to happy hour would be. But yes, I do have contrast that is a little bit bigger throughout the week. And instead of eating at home 24/7, maybe I have a bigger group dinner where we're going out, but we're not spending the whole evening and the whole night. We're going together, having a group dinner, doing that kind of thing. Maybe it's watching a movie with friends. And so that's Monday through Friday, generally the thing I follow. Then on the weekend, I'm still gonna have one day that's like 50 or 60% work, but I'm doing like a big contrast activity. And so that could be, to go back to the Colombia example, that could be something like going paragliding. Or if we're in Spain, maybe it's a motorcycle trip, or going to hot springs, or doing horseback riding, or even on the weekend doing a weekend trip to somewhere. And so you have a big contrast to get some of that balance back in a positive way. Could be a boat day, whatever you want to say. So I have that contrast. The thing that this is solving the problem for is many people will go to a location and they'll want to experience, and just rock and roll there and ignore the work side of things. So many people have that problem when they go to Bali. And so the way and the why this works is because you're making sure you get your work done, but because you're staying in a place for an extended amount of time, you're also getting to experience the place. And so you do that throughout the week, and then one day after that big experience, it's still a working day, maybe a little bit of a slow reflection. And so you can set that up. And in this beauty that is the online world, right? You don't have to work a Monday through Friday. You can work a Tuesday through Sunday. Do whatever you please. But that's the system that I follow. And then also for the rule too, if it's generally less than 2 weeks, I don't like to, I don't know the last time I didn't work for 2 weeks max. But if it's less than 2 weeks, especially like a 4-day trip or even like a 6-day trip, I'm not doing that all the time. But when I am, I find it even more practical. Besides doing light work, it's just way more practical to get things done. And the only exception that I found so far to this rule is Bali, where I recommend, especially for Americans, if you're going to Bali, go at least 2 weeks. But even more than 2 weeks, I think you should go at like a month would be my big recommendation. Because in Bali, there is just so much to do. And so what I recommend doing there is, because there's so much and it's such a new world and just a magic world out there, incredibly beautiful creation, is for those first 2 weeks, send Bali all the way. Do a tour of the island, do everything that you can find that's like check, 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 check all those boxes, because then when you're done, you don't have as much of that after that 2 weeks, and it may not even take you 2 weeks. But do all those things so you've gotten out of the way, and then you can get in disciplined work and then go back to that schedule that we talked about. And so that's the way that I manage to get shit done and to have a good balance of life and a deeply fulfilling, incredible life, whilst maintaining productivity, keeping good ends on the business, and scaling life in general.